Hi, guys. Welcome to the Gig Economy Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. This studio is sponsored by Irvine's Auto Repair in Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. We'll talk about them a little bit later. As you can see, it's different people on the show tonight. Welcome, Hannibal. Thank you for stepping in.
Thank you for inviting me, Jason. I would say that intro music is amazing.
Thank
I was
you.
just jamming to it the whole time, actually. But
Uh,
yeah, excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
yes. So we'll get to Hannibal in a little bit, but so our boy Jesper is in Denmark and said to me, Jason, I'm going to bring all my equipment and I'm going to podcast in Denmark. And Denmark time. It'd be
Yes.
it's 3 a.m. on Thursday there, I think, or maybe, yeah, Thursday. I don't know, but it's early. It's 3
It's
a.m.
early. Yeah.
Exactly. And so he's like, I'm going to do it. I went out with some friends and I'm going to set my alarm and take a nap. And he's not here, but that's okay. We got Hannibal, so I appreciate you stepping in.
No
Everything
problem.
gig economy related, if you go to gigeconomy-podcast.com, also the link tree in the description. Want to mention our Patreon people: Keith from Indiana, Janet from New Zealand, Larry from Bowling Green, Samson from GR, Steve from Colorado, Leo from Detroit, Chris from Grand Rapids, and what was his name? Bud Dickman. Bud Dickman from I don't know where. He just joined.
I love that name, actually.
I feel like it's fake. I feel like it's fake.
It could be like a movie name. Yeah.
Something. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to let on who it is. Also in the description, our Telegram group where you can connect with drivers all over the country, chat about gig work, whatever. And also our radio show that I'm doing between now and the end of the year on Friday nights from 7 p to 9 p Eastern time on tncradio.live. It's with me and Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. It's kind of like a legit radio show on a station. Now it's not, it's internet radio, so you can swear, which is kind of nice. But they take breaks just like a regular radio show and stuff. So
Cool.
kind of interesting. They play music, intro, outro music, and stuff like that. So check that out. And then, of course, Steve from the Rideshare Rodeo. What I always say about Steve, he talks about the gig economy like us, but he's more the nuts and bolts and gets really down and dirty with like Prop 22 and AB5 and all that complicated stuff where I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So we kind of do that too, but we also talk about fun stuff and those kind of things. So, yeah. So Hannibal, tell me a little bit about you. Give me like the 60-second interview or intro speech, or if someone meets you in an elevator and you're like, who are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm a gig worker. I've been doing that for about a year full time, but I've been doing gig work since 2018 with Rover, actually taking care of dogs, walking them, boarding them. That's my main job. And as 2020 shaped and changed a lot of our trajectory in our lives, I started to do the food delivery apps. And then also being bored, being in New York City, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm just didn't have much to do because everything was locked down. I started to make a YouTube channel. Hannibal is Hungry. I started that talking about basic gig commentary and then also interviewing other content creators in that field. And that's probably my favorite part, interviewing, talking to people. And I've been having a great time since, to be honest. I am happy compared to that W2 life that everyone likes to complain about. But I like, betting on myself and setting on my own goals. So it's been pretty good so far.
Rover in New York's got to be insane. I mean,
Yes.
I
Yes.
love my dogs and I spend way too much money on them already, but I feel like in New York, especially, there's not a lot of green space. Like, how do you own a dog in New York in a 30-story apartment building and it go into the bathroom?
It happens. Everyone has a dog. I don't know the stats on it, but everyone almost I would say 2 out of 3 people, or I'll at least say 50% of us have some kind of animal in our house, either it's a cat or a dog, and we have dog parks. People still walk their dogs. They people will spend their last dime on their dog. So the business has been really blown up since May when the CDC kind of pulled back on the restrictions and people
Mhm.
were starting to travel again. So I've been really busy to a point where sometimes I don't do the food delivery stuff as much, food delivery apps like DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats because I got all these dogs walking around, and I have a unique situation where I have a backyard in the building that I have
Oh,
access to, so they get to run around and play. So I have a very unique situation. But yeah, dog business, the business with animals, multi-billion-dollar business. A lot of
I
people spend money
I
on their
can
dogs.
imagine if you're walking your dog in the city or it's a concrete jungle, do they just go number 2 right on the concrete?
Anywhere. Some dogs prefer to poop on the street. They don't care about the grass or any kind of soil, like asphalt. They'll just do what they gotta do. It's dogs are they can adjust to a lot of different
Yeah.
environments.
Yeah, they would have to adapt if there's no green. I mean, you're just gonna have to do what you gotta do.
Definitely, definitely.
So, before we jump into gig economy news, just want to talk about Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid, our studio, and EV, our studio sponsor of this show. You can call them at 532-6600 or schedule service online, irvines.com. I keep saying I'm going to get my car in, and I'm about 2 weeks away from full-time gig work, so I need to get a maintenance check done on it and all that fun stuff. And you can do everything online. Like I said, go to irvines.com. They send you pictures of everything that needs to be repaired. You approve or decline it. It's amazing. Megan and Jamie in the office, and Bruce and the techs back in the bays, they're incredible, and we can't thank them enough for supporting this podcast, because I love doing it. And all that money that we earn from them, all that money in quotes, goes to StreamYard and hosting fees and all that stuff. Jesper and I are, buying beers, although he's in Denmark. I hate to say he probably used our money to pay for it, but no, I'm just kidding. So 532-6600 or irvines.com if you need that service. And then as always, if you do go there or call them for anything, please mention that you heard about them from us. We would really, really appreciate it. So, all right, first up, hold on. I got to manage the comments too, man. It's like a full-time job tonight for me. So first up is going to be a video. As we've talked about in the past, drivers they're getting carjacked. I talked about it on, I think, the radio show Friday, that it just seems to be happening more. I feel like it's kind of getting reported more. But anyways, so this guy wasn't going to have it. He said no, and we're going to play that real quick and just talk about it.
Can I help you?
Where that money at?
You need to get out.
What? Man, what the fuck you money at? Stop paying me. Where that money at?
I don't have any money.
Stop paying me. Where's that? Right now. Give
I
it to
don't
me.
have
right
cash.
Now.
It's a digital world, bro.
Man, give me your wallet.
I don't have it.
Give me your wallet. Right now. Give it to me. Bro, stop.
You gonna shoot me?
Give me that wallet, man.
Get the fuck out of here. You don't want to get shot? Come on,
Give me
man.
that wallet, bro.
No.
Bro, stop playing me before I hit you right here. Give me that wallet, bro.
Fuck you. I got it on my camera too.
Oh, look at you. Fucking awesome.
Wow.
All righty then. Does that guy have balls of steel or what?
It's like a Clint Eastwood type move, like that is mind blowing. When you see that, like, what's going through your head? Like,
I'm freaking out. Like, I mean, he mentioned something like you don't want to get shot. So I wonder if he was carrying too. I don't know if he had like his weapon in his waistband or something. I don't know, because when the driver said to him, "You don't want to get shot, do you?" And I don't know, but like,
yeah, that was actually, Jason. That's a good point. He did say that, but in close quarters like that, if you're gonna say that, you should have yours ready and to be. Listen, I understand as you get older, and I'm enjoying this. You start to not care as much, and certain things that scare you, you're like, I don't even care, dude. Like, you're not gonna do anything. Like, he called his bluff.
yep,
You could tell that wasn't something that young man was going to do. But I would say, as much as that was a funny clip, and yeah, that dude, he balls of steel, that's scary, man. And I think those type of situations, and like as you mentioned earlier before you play the clip, crime is rising in many areas. I think almost everywhere. It looks like there's robberies, carjackings, and us gig workers that are outside in the field, we're like the targets. And this guy was targeted, and hopefully, a good thing that dude wasn't ready for that life. Clearly, like the fact that he's like, but it's a scary situation that a lot of us have to deal with out in these streets.
I'm not sure what the passenger was doing in the back. Like, you didn't hear anything from him. He had headphones on, but did he not realize what was going on?
I think it's like fear and just being
Yeah.
frozen. Like what you think like, okay, what would I do in that situation? It's always something you always think of after the situation happened. But even at that time, in that moment, like, what the hell? Yeah, I would have just got out the car, I guess. But then you feel like you left the driver out for defend himself. I don't really know.
Right.
I would not know what I would do.
Steve comments like, that dude's been robbed before. He's a pro at it. This time he decided no. So clearly he's got another video up where he was robbed, but man.
Yeah. And then I remember that story with Muhammad Anwar. I think the
Yes, in
guy,
Chicago.
So I had this idea too. If I saw two girls come into my car two teenagers, two young people demanding to take my car, I will probably say, get the hell out of here. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
but nowadays these kids are performing adult level crimes where you may have to adjust your thought of how to deal with these kind of situations.
You know, the interesting part about, and I think we did talk about that specific cases, your initial reaction is to be like, no, don't take my car. But in the grand scheme of things, that's what you have insurance for. You should probably just let it happen. You know what I mean? But you just feel so violated. You're like, that is my property. What are you doing? And so I probably would have done the same thing, and it just didn't work out for him.
Yeah. Because you guess you don't really factor all those things and things are happening so fast. Your initial feeling is to defend your property. Like, this is my livelihood. I make money to support my family with this. You can't take this from me. There's a similar situation happened with an e-bike. And I believe in the Bronx in New York, someone tried to rob this guy. I think it's Fernando. I forgot his last name. Forgive me, but someone tried to take his bike, shot him in the chest, and died. But that bike represented not just conveyance; it was to deliver food. I think it was a Mexican immigrant. So it's a crazy world we live in, Jason.
Yeah, it is. I guess my only piece of advice, if that happens, just let them take it. It's not worth your life. But sometimes it just, you get worried about that stuff, and you're like, no, don't take my shit. So.
Yeah.
Mark says those kinds of kids need a butt whooping. Yeah, they do. And then some punk said, I'm surprised the passenger didn't get the F out of there. I know too, like, he probably was frozen in fear because he did talk right after the guy got out, but I would have been like, I'm out of here. I'm sorry, driver. Like, it's everybody from their selves at that point.
Yeah.
I hate to say that,
I agree. Yeah.
So we've all experienced deliveries where they just don't go right, and I'm sure you have as well. And this guy had a rough night. You look at the picture, it says, hi, I dropped your food in front of your door. And for your audio listeners, there's 3 giant McDonald's bags, and the dude is passed out in front of his door. Now, my question is, did he live there, or is his girlfriend live there and she wouldn't let him in? And he was just like, no, I need food right now.
You know what? Let's not criticize. We all been there. Maybe we at least made it into the apartment. We go in our Uber Eats, we go in our app, and just order too much food. You're like, I'm gonna eat this, I'm gonna eat that, and all right. So you're delivering that food. When you try to wake the guy up, or you're just like, well, F it, it's not my problem. Take the picture and move on.
Honestly, I would try to say, bro, you okay?
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, and if he was like, yeah, I'd be like, all right, man, here's your food. That would be my extent of it. If I couldn't wake him up, I would continue investigating. But yeah. And now you got a picture. What if he was dead? And now you're like, the biggest piece of evidence is you took a picture of this guy.
And also, like, you're conscious, like, man, I should have did more. But like, you're not a paramedic, and yeah, that's, I mean, we all been there. I've guilty. I've at least made it into my house before I ordered too much food and didn't get delivered because I was sleeping. But yeah, that's I think I would do what you said. Try to at least, hey, you're right. Hear some moans and groans. Like, okay, you're good. Here to McDonald's, you wake up and chow down when you have that hangover.
Oh my gosh, that guy's gonna have a bad hangover. I gotta see this picture again. So there's a running joke in this show. I'm just gonna let you know that I've worked outside pretty much for the last 25 years, and I pee in a Gatorade bottle when I have to go. God bless me with the utility to do that. And so it's a running joke on this show. So Mark says Jason's piss bottle was in the background. So I I definitely have to go look at this picture again and see. Oh, there is a Gatorade bottle right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so maybe his girlfriend just gave him like, here's some Gatorade or whatever. Oh, that's so funny, Mark. Good.
Yeah.
Good catch
But you
on
look at what he's wearing. You know, probably look. Is that what kind of like
I-
dress? Like
I bet
work?
that was a wedding.
Yeah,
bet he
he's
was at a
partying a little bit, and he almost made it. He almost made
Look at that,
it.
the amount of food there. There's probably like $80 worth of McDonald's. No, $80, not that much. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he
But
was gonna enjoy himself. He's gonna have himself a good time. He just didn't
he
didn't
didn't
he
quite
didn't make it.
make it.
Mhm.
So, all right. Next up, there is. Let's see. Bear with me. So this is. I'm gonna read it on my rundown. It's looks like Uber Eats. Customer states tipping less anytime an order has multiple stops, not the deal and not okay. Driver, not my fault. I can't control it. Yours was the first delivery anyhow, but whatever. Have a good day. Let's see. If the order arrives fresh and hot, I will add a tip. This nonsense needs to stop. And then the driver. This is why people don't understand the power these drivers have. Oh, I'm canceling the trip so you can get your delivery in one stop only. Have a good day and apologize. So now it's going to take longer. Like
Yeah.
my guess is he was on the way to get hers, but decided that she, she wasn't going to get it in a quick time. I've been seeing that a lot lately. Customers getting frustrated with multiple stops. Have you had to deal with that at all?
Not necessarily personally, but I've seen so many stories, and yeah, the customer. I mean, we gotta try to look at it from everyone's perspective. If I'm a customer, I would order when I order my food, I would like it as fresh and as quickly as possible, right? I understand they do have other options for Uber Eats. I think you could pay a little bit more money to get it
Yeah,
faster.
priority.
Priority. Same thing with Instacart. And I think if it's I guess from a customer perspective, he's like, wow, I have to spend even more money to get this done faster. Should I? So I understand that dynamic, but the drivers, for the most part, can't control that. Sometimes it comes in two, you get two orders. So it's like the company doesn't do a great job of explaining what's going on with it is not explaining, okay, this is happening. It looks like they don't want to really explain that. It's like, yeah, you get your food when you get it.
Yeah.
We'll try to get it as fast as you can, but the driver is going to take two orders. So I understand both complaints, like you
Mhm.
understand for the driver, you can't control it, and it looks like the customer, sometimes you got to pay more money. Basically, pay more money and you
Yeah.
will get your stuff faster. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think Uber is the only platform that has that priority, and I don't know how much more it is.
From I
Honestly,
remember, I think it was maybe in like $1. It wasn't like a whole lot of money. I think it was like maybe an extra $2 from orders I would look at. Like if I'm ordering like 2 meals or something like that. I think it was like $2. I know someone correct me in the comments, but it's not like an overwhelming amount of money.
yeah,
Just
not,
a few bucks.
not as much as the normal fees where they rake you over the coals.
Exactly.
Yeah. So normally I don't take double orders on any platform because usually the second one is they're trying to slip one past the goalie, like I always say, and it's usually not as much as it really is, and it kind of misleads, like, oh, this is like a really good order, but the second one usually isn't. But what I'll have two orders on different platforms. That's when it gets scary. You got to really make sure that your directions when you pick up a second order from like Grubhub and you have one on Uber Eats, because obviously the platforms aren't communicating with each other. And so if you start to go deliver the Grubhub and the Uber Eats customer is like,
where are you going?
yeah. And I've had that like one time. Most time people don't pay attention, but I do try to be respectful of it. There's times where I'll grab it and I haven't had the food yet. And then I really analyze the addresses and I'll be like, you know what? No, I'm not going to be fair to one of these customers. It's not fair. And I'll just dump it just because I don't want the hate.
Yeah, the multi-apping, like doing the way you're like getting orders on multiple platforms, that's like an art and a science and luck and a lot of stuff. Like if you know like your map of your area, like the back of your hand, you could probably, and I do not, my sense of direction is terrible. I'm sorry to admit this right now. Thank God for GPS. I probably wouldn't be driving. My wife makes fun of me all the time. She's like, "How do you even put your pants on?" Whatever. It is what it is. But there's some people who just know their area. It's probably really fruitful to take a Grubhub order, Uber Eats, if you know where everything is going. But going back to your point about putting a no tip order with a tip order, Instacart must be the biggest culprit of that.
Okay.
Where they're just doing that. Like every time someone's getting a batch with 2 orders, most likely it's going to be one order with a really good tip, a generous tip, and one with no tip.
Right.
And Instacart is basically saying, well, you're getting the money. It's just from
Yeah.
one of these orders, not both. And you can't. I don't think you can cancel one or the other. I don't believe. Maybe you can. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mark in the comments, that's true. Instacart is batching those all together. You really don't have a choice. You have to, if you want to take one, you have to take both. And I don't,
Yeah.
like I don't know if you can. I did Instacart for a while. It wasn't bad, but yeah, I've shopped, I've done ship too. I've done it all, I swear. And it is stressful, like keeping the order separate
Yeah.
and making sure you get it done. Like ship is so critical on you if you don't get it there on time. Like they knock you down so hardcore if it's not there on time. So that's stressful, and it just wasn't really worth the stress for me, the amount of money I was making, because if they don't tip you, it's not worth anything. Not
True.
worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you get tips on Rover? Is there a spot on the app for you to get tipped?
That's a very good question, Jason. That feature just came out literally
Oh,
last week. Last week. So this whole time, tipping was encouraged, but it was always off the app. But I think like Rover wants everything in the app now. So they're like, oh, now you can tip in the app. But before, the customer would just, hand you a few bucks. It wasn't something that Rover would invite in the app. They just started that last week, which is kind of hilarious. I've been on since 2018. They just added that. So
why would they take so long? Because everyone wants it easier, right? I don't want to have to dig out cash. Like I rarely have cash. Just let me do it in the app. That was like
I'm assuming they must have been dragging their feet on that one, because that was something that I'm sure a lot of sitters were looking for, and they just was taking their time, but they finally got it. So better late than never, I guess.
I'm really curious to see how much your income increases now that that's built into the app, because I think it's probably going to go up.
Hopefully, since we have so much inflation, hopefully that will supplement the inflation that's going on. Give me some extra dollars in the coffers there. So yeah, I'm happy that it's finally on the app.
Yeah. I know Uber for the longest time didn't have tipping on their app either, and Lyft had it right from the get-go, and then eventually Uber brought it along. But they initially said it, the price, the tip was like included in the price. Now back in the day when Uber first started, yeah, you could make a shit ton of money because the rates were just incredible, but now they're so low. It's like if you don't get a tip, it's hardly worth it anymore. But
yeah.
Next up, I'm not going to go a ton into this, but and this is from the Massachusetts I can't say that word. Coalition? No. Coalition. Thank you for independent work. So take it with a grain of salt. New poll, 84% of California rideshare and delivery drivers recommend that Massachusetts and other states pass laws like Prop 22. So basically, they're saying in this article that like Prop 22 is great. We should do it. I actually should ask, what is your opinion on Prop 22 and AB5? Or do you want to strictly be an independent contractor, or do you want to be somewhat of an employee?
Well, personally, I enjoy being an independent contractor. I was fired basically last 2012. I was fired, and I told the person it was like a divorce. Like
Yeah.
the boss was crying, like this is not working out. It was like a marriage. I was almost there for 10 years.
Goodness.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And I told her like I'm not going to work for anybody else. Like I'm just going to figure this out on my own. So like for me, I am going to figure it out. I'd rather deal with that rather than necessarily a lot of government regulation. But these companies they're like asking you to be regulated by how they're behaving. Like, instead of fixing it, they want to just try to get as much as possible. So even the situation with Prop 22, they put that together, and I'm seeing like they're doing something similar with Massachusetts.
Yeah.
It's a very new industry, right? It's kind of started with 2008 and how things kind of went crazy with the recession and how the gig economy kind of came in, and it's still new. It's still chaotic. It still feels like a companies are vying for power. It's like a Squid Game. It's like everyone's trying to either buy each other out or knock each other out of business. And we're as a labor, we're just like stuck in the middle,
Right.
just trying to figure it out. So usually when I see a lot of people bragging about their take-home pays on, let's say, DoorDash, for example, it's always from California with the Prop 22 because you see that DoorDash pay adjustment.
Yes.
I'm like, well, I would, yes, of course, I would like a pay adjustment. You know what I mean? Like, we always want more money.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a complicated situation, I think, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a little bit more transparency with these companies. I'm with you. I want to be an independent contractor. I mean, I get fussy when I take an Amazon block and they tell me that I have to be there from 2 to 5. I mean, I know why they have to do that. I understand it, but it's an example of like, I love the flexibility so much that I don't want any part of it, but we do need some protections. These companies need to be accountable for some of the stuff that they're doing. And I don't know what that looks like. I really don't want them to be forced to do it. So this is an opportunity for these companies to step up and say, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this, to make you happy. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't believe that. If you really look at this article, and I'm going to share it on social this week, but you can click on the actual survey and it's not as, I mean, yeah, that number, like it's kind of clickbaity, I guess what I'm trying to say.
yeah, and I think that.
Sorry
Sorry for interrupting. A lot of politicians are trying to find that fix, and usually they just make things worse.
Yeah,
and I think that's where it's going to be. It's like they're trying to, because I think a lot of people who are really passionate and really upset, some of them came from the same thing. Like with me, lost their W-2 and they're doing this gig work, and they're kind of thinking, hey, this is not like my job at all. Like I want the benefits. I want to be, that job level security, and I want to have freedom and flexibility. Like we want everything.
right.
We have to start to figure out what we can't have and what we can have.
Yeah. I'll just reiterate. I wish we had a little bit more protection, but I also don't want to work a shift. I don't want Uber to tell me you can only work from 10 a.m. to noon or whatever. I want to work when I want to work. And so I don't know. Like I said, I'll post this on social and you can kind of take a look at it. But I encourage you, after you read the article, go look at the questions that they asked and how many people they polled. It was a little like, okay, I don't know about this. Rideshare, or Steve from Rideshare Rodeos, are you driving PAX because it's spring or because you feel COVID safe to get back to it? Because it's spring. I don't know what that means. I will go where the money's at. I will drive passengers around. But right now, the money's not there unless there's a bonus. Lyft's got an incredible bonus for this week. It's $250 for 20 rides, which is
nice.
really good. I don't have time to get it done, but I'm going to go where the money's at. I would rather do delivery, but if rideshare's got a big bonus, then I will go do rideshare. So that's basically where I'm at. So, that was at Janet. Sorry, Steve. My bad. Okay, I lost my spot. Okay, this is a video about, it's just kind of funny. These ladies were out just having dinner, and driving down the road was like a delivery. Or no, this isn't my bad. This is wrong one. Sorry, I read that wrong. This one's about a TikTok, an Uber price phone kind of trick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's literally what they're doing. I think there's a lot of algorithms that change those prices, but we'll watch that real quick.
On the latest episode of Capitalistic Dark Shit Megacorps will do to squeeze more money out of you,
Uber will charge you more if your phone is about to die.
Because they know you're desperate. So we just tried it, and as you can see, the phone is almost full, and this is $129. And as you can see, my phone's about to die, and I get $154, which is 20% more. This is just so evil. I bet the guy who thought of that got a promotion. So moral of the story, if you want to save money,
charge your phone.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. If you don't, I don't know this guy's background. He's got a pretty decent following. I kind of looked at him on TikTok. Uber's algorithms is like, this is another thing, like transparency, right? Like some people get the bonuses. Some, like, we can be in the same city, live on the same street, drive the same amount of time, and one guy could get a bonus and one guy couldn't, or one guy would get the surge and one guy couldn't. So I think what it is probably just a fluke. I don't know. He's probably trying to get some likes or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, did he wait for the phone to die? Did it get later in the time when things got busier? I mean, it's not, it's not so scientific, a lot of, in terms of a lot of effort trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But we don't know how the algorithm works,
No.
Jason. We don't know. And it seems like just last week with the whistleblower from Facebook explaining how, how some of the algorithms weren't even that great in terms of checking certain content that should be allowed to go on the platform or not. And who knows what's going on Facebook, but that's like a multi-billion-dollar company, one of the most valuable companies in the world, and their algorithm apparently sucks. Apparently, so it's like
Yeah.
Uber and DoorDash, they're not as valuable. So it's we think that AI can replace people, but AI is still kind of stupid. Like people should still be operating some of these things, but
Right.
labor, you don't have to pay AI, anything. So I don't know. I take that with a grain of salt with that.
Yeah, I'd like to see him repeat it a couple times, just to see if he could, do it more than once. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, so Steve says phone battery can't be read by these platforms. I don't know, Steve. I don't know. I was just gonna say I wouldn't be surprised that they can read your battery. I mean, you have to give up so many permissions when you download those apps. Allow, but I don't know. Maybe they can't. I know.
It'd be nice if they can't. Like, it'd be certain things they can't look at.
Yeah.
But also with rideshare, everything's expensive. I mean, I drive. I'm sure you drive. You don't use rideshare a lot anymore or
No.
as often, but the prices are increased. A lot of drivers don't want to do it anymore. They either are not, worried about the COVID stuff. They're worried about crime. They don't want someone in their car, and the food delivery, the shopping apps, they get as much money or more money, less mileage, wear and tear in a car. So things are going to get more expensive just using these things in general.
Yeah. Steve says not on iOS though. Yeah, I know Apple is more strict about letting apps read their stuff, but
okay,
yeah. Don't be talking program shit. I don't know what that what unisex? Isn't that like a shirt that can be worn by men or women? Like, I'm just kidding, Steve. Gosh, I love it. That's so funny. Before we move on, I just want to talk about you or a potential sponsor. We're always looking for sponsor advertisers on our show. If you would love to be on the show, we can get your word out. We're worldwide. That's what I always say. But no, we can put together a proposal for you, all our stats, our numbers and stuff, and send that out to you. So we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to talk about your product, something that you want to sell. I mean, obviously something that's web-based is probably easier, but if you're in the Grand Rapids market and you're local, our biggest market obviously is Grand Rapids because that's where we're from. But yeah, just reach out to us, team at gigeconomy-.com, or, send us a Facebook message. Also, Jesper, who's not here, I thought for sure he'd chime in by now. Jesper, me and my partner Ben own a production company called Hey Guys Media Group. We help people start their podcasts. We edit their shows, those kind of things. We'd love for you, if you're interested in starting a podcast too, reach out to Hey Guys Media. Just search it on the web. You'll be able to find it. But yeah, if you're ever interested in starting or just need some consulting or anything like that, we would love to help you. All right. This is something I'm excited for. Let me click on this article. So this is about it's Indigo Technologies wants to make lightweight electric cars for the gig economy workers. Now, I don't have any pictures for this, but first of all, the car is ugly. Like, it's rough looking. I know it's just a demo or whatever, but the company is based out of Massachusetts, and they're trying to make cars that benefit Uber, Amazon Flex, Instacart, those kind of things. And they're trying to make it electric. So the one-seater that they have has 58.3 cubic feet. That does nothing for me. Like, cubic feet, like, do you know how big that is?
Well, I do not, but I agree with you. I did see the picture of the vehicle. It's ugly and it's small. So the first thing when I saw it, I said, okay, if I'm an Instacart shopper, how the hell am I gonna take any kind of batches at all? Like, it's too small. It's basically only, it looks like, for food delivery, right? Like, what else are you gonna be able to put in this thing?
It's a one-seater, this one. So they have two models. So this is a one-seater. It has a range between 150 and 250 miles on a single charge, and it's going to start of a target price about 20 grand.
20 grand.
Well, to me, I mean, for an electric car, remember, think about the electric part because
Okay.
that's where the key is. You're not spending any fuel on that. So
Mm.
they also have a four-door cousin, which has 106 cubic feet, so double the cargo space. And it doesn't say how many seats are in that one. I assume it's 4 seats. Did you think 20 grand was too much?
I think for one seater,
Yeah,
it's a bit much. Now I didn't get to see the bigger one,
no,
so
there
I
was
don't
no
know.
picture for that one.
Yeah, and like I said, how ugly it don't look as cool as trying to. I think they're trying to get that futuristic aesthetic,
Yeah.
but it just misses the mark. I think it's just I guess it's just for working, right?
Well,
Like
yeah, exactly. And although that would be funny if you're like going on a date and you're like, yeah, I'm going to order an Uber. And that son of a gun thing comes up and you'd be like, oh shit, my date's going to think I'm a loser. You know what I mean? Not that you can control that, but that would be funny.
yeah.
But one cool thing about this car, which I'm excited about, is they're working on an innovation with the suspension system to provide a most comfortable ride as they can. So I'm excited about this because with Amazon Flex, my suspension system is jacked. Like
Mm.
I put like almost 2 grand into my power steering system because it just got beat up. Because a lot of times with Amazon Flex, when you're just delivering just packages, you're out in the boonies. Like it's dirt roads and it's muddy and shit's just bouncing up. So apparently, he says we've literally reinvented the wheel in such a way that we created the world's first propulsion suspension system right into the wheel. It's called the
Oh.
Super Wheel, and it's an active suspension technology allows the driver to control each corner of the vehicle. Going over bumps is no longer an issue, creating what he calls a magic carpet ride. Okay, whatever. Every single wheel that's touching the ground will have the ability to raise up when it hits a speed bump and push down if it hits a pothole without the rest of the vehicle dipping. So it's basically like you're driving along, that wheel drops, but you don't notice it because it's got its individual suspension, which if they
That's amazing.
it's
Yeah.
incredible. I was so
Yeah.
excited about that because oh my gosh, like oh, that would be so great. And I bet it would save a lot of like wear and tear because the whole car is not going ka-chunk. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I mean, like you're in dirt roads, in the boonies. I'm just in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
The roads are just jacked up, like
Yeah.
everything. So I'm bouncing around all the time. So all right, 20,000, and I can glide around the neighborhood, glide around my house.
Live.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think I would. I
And
would.
no
I think
gas.
about investing. Yeah, I think about investing that.
Like
Yeah.
to me, I want a Tesla so bad just because I don't really trust like the Chevy Volt. I don't know why. I'm kind of like an Asian car kind of guy. Like I have Hondas. My Honda has 240,000 miles on it, my SUV. It's no lights, no engine lights on that thing. Yeah. Does it need some suspension work? Of course. Am I going to wait till it breaks till I fix it? Yeah, of course. When I bring it to Irvine's and they're going to say, this is jacked under here, I'm like, hey, it's fine. I'm not spending the money until it's broke. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
broke,
it
yeah.
is. But my car is running great. You know what I mean? And the problem is like literally gas is, I mean, it's probably more expensive where you're at, but I was like almost on E yesterday, like almost fumes, and I put $65 in that thing, and
Mm.
and I get 17 miles to the gallon. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sucks.
And right now it's very, car prices are high. All the chips, like it's
Oh
computer
yeah.
chips to have is on back order, and I just finished paying off my little car, and I have my Jeep as well. I'm gonna just ride it until it all breaks down. Right now it's just not worth the financial hold of trying to get
Oh,
another loan. Like I'm not doing any of that. So I'm gonna ride till the wheels fall off,
yep, me
literally.
too. My goal, I have a 13-year-old daughter. She's going to be 14 in December. 2 years, if I want her to have that. Now I mean, I do gig work half the year full time, so that's a lofty goal. But I mean,
Mhm.
I bet if I could, without crashing it too, that's another risk. You're always on the road. The chance of you getting hit or whatever are pretty high. But that car will probably have 400,000 miles on it if I can make it till she's 16. So we'll see. But yeah, I want an electric car. I'm tired of paying incredible amounts of money for gas. But the problem is if you want to do Amazon Flex, you kind of need a little bit of a beefy car. You just do. if you're in at least my neck of the woods. You know, obviously I'm around the city all the time, but Amazon, that's what they do. They send the flex drivers out to the, you know, the boonies and keep their drivers in the city. I just don't know if I could take a Tesla down a dirt road and not cry every time it was, you know, muddy.
Yeah, such a beautiful car. Yeah,
I
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited about that. The suspension thing, I about died. When I was reading it before the show, and I got so excited about the suspension. Man, if I can avoid those potholes and, you know, not have to.
It's a game changer. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Game changer. All right, real quick too, and I'm sure I forgot his name. Oh, Chad probably talked about this one. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub must disclose hidden fees given new delivery workers all tips on the new California law. Is that one that he talked about?
Yeah, I believe we have. We talk about a lot of stuff, but I believe we talked about that. You know, the interesting thing, again, why you had to make a law about that? You know, like guys, come on, guys, like why you can't just tell us what's going on? And I understand why, but this is going to continue to happen. These regulations is going to just keep coming.
Well, we just talked about that, right? If the companies don't shape up, the government's going to step in. And I'm not a I hate to say this. I would like less government in our business. Like that's just, I think it sometimes jacks it up. And I think a lot of times the government wants in because they want their tax money, right? You know what I mean? So
I agree.
But I think this is a good one. I honestly am glad California did this. Basically, the bill prohibits food delivery apps from charging customers more than the restaurants do, that one's huge because most restaurants if you order food delivery, it is more than what it is on their menu. It also addresses hidden fees, requiring the companies to disclose to restaurants and customers detailed cost breakdown of each transaction. And of course, it says, they're going to make sure you get all your tips. But yeah. DoorDash, which originally said it had no comment on the signing of AB 286, later said it already provides transparency. That is the bullshit right there. Throughout its platform to customers, merchants, and delivery workers. The company also said Dashers always receive 100% of their tips and see the full breakdown of all their deliveries in the app. That's such a lie.
They're better off just saying no comment and moving on.
Yeah, no kidding.
But going back to how the items in these apps are more expensive, I always assumed, and maybe I'm wrong, that it was the restaurants that were upcharging, like putting more money because of the cut that these companies are taking out of their pot, that they would try to offset that. But you think it's the apps that's doing that? Like
you bring up a good point. I thought the same to recoup their costs of, Uber, I think takes like 35%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So maybe it is that, but according to this, some of the apps are doing that themselves. So they must be keeping that money too, right? Like obviously they're not giving it to the drivers.
No, not at all.
But so this is one time where I'm glad they stepped in because anytime we can have more transparency on any of these apps is a win for everyone.
That's the biggest thing. I think I know a lot of us want more money. Of course, we all want more money. But if one thing can change tomorrow, what it would be for me in terms of having a better experience being a gig worker is just be transparent. Like, just let me know if it's garbage. Just let me know if it's garbage. Maybe I'll take it. Probably not. But at least let me know. You know what I mean?
Probably not. Do you have I'm just curious, it popped in my head. Do you have a limit that you will take and not take? Like, do you have is it a mile thing? Is it a time? It's probably more a time thing for you.
Yeah, it's a little mixed because I'm in such a condensed area. Brooklyn has like 8 million people in the city, or some crazy amount of people. Goodness. So there's like thousands of restaurants. So mine's is based on time, and I want at least $2 mile to dollar ratio. And I don't want to go like over 4 miles, which is kind of crazy. Like everyone else is going all these, but just taking my son to school this morning, it took me 40 minutes to drive 3 miles. It's just so much traffic. There's too many human beings in our city. I need to move. I should move, but there's too much of us here, and we all driving in the same roads, and we're just no accidents. It's just we're just in the road, bumper to bumper.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy. Yeah, man.
All right, next up, these are for you, so I want you to comment on these. These are Rover. The first one, it's a looks like a booking between David and somebody, and it looks like the guy that's going to take care of the pet says, "Hey, I want to let you know that I do use ultrasonic bark deterrents like the Sonic Egg. I do use the beep and spray collars if owners are comfortable with it." Customer, no, I'm not okay with that. That needs to be upfront information. My dog does not bark and has never gone after another dog or person. What do you call it? The sitter? Is that
Yeah, the sitter.
sitter? The sitter says, "That is why I'm informing you now. Thank you for letting me know." Customer, okay, well, I not be needing the meet and greet since we will not be using you. And he's like, "Thanks for letting me know." So
Yeah,
this
that's
is odd.
very odd. You should not be implementing any kind of electric collar to stop dogs from barking. That probably means that person is probably in an area that they're taking care of dogs where they probably shouldn't have dogs. Dogs are barking because dogs
Yeah.
bark. Dogs gonna bark. Dogs bark
Yeah.
when the door is ringing or a new person is coming or they're playing. So the idea you trying to limit the way the dog is communicating, yeah, I don't really use any kind of collars and none of that. And I understand some trainers do that, but that's just not for me. I think there's other ways to get the dog to not bark. Sometimes just all right. If you want deterrent, spray with a little water. Hey,
Yeah.
stop, dummy.
But I mean,
know,
your role as a sitter is not to train the dog. You're there to keep it
exactly.
alive.
Just
You know
to
what I
keep it
mean?
alive, take a picture every day of them
Yeah.
looking like they're
Give
alive and
some love.
happy. Give them love, pet them, hang out, watch TV. Like a lot of these dogs, I always tell when I do meet and greets with clients, I say, it's not rocket science. I'm just hanging out with your dog for a few days. They'll be
Yeah.
fine because right now everyone is just so panicked. They're like, we've been together for a whole year. He's a COVID dog. Like I don't know what that means. A COVID dog. No, it's a dog. That's your pet. You were home all year. It's fine. Dog will be
Yeah.
okay. It's more in the client that's more of the anxious than the dog. Dog is happy,
Of
but the
course.
client is, but yeah, should not be doing any kind of training methods with collars like that. So that's a no-go.
Yeah, that is strange. I don't know how that guy even gets business. It's very weird. No, again, we're taking a snapshot of this conversation. Looks like there's stuff above it, so we don't know anything about it. But
Mhm.
we can only judge on what we see. But my lord. And then this one's funny too. The last one is a house sitting request. Home information. I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a large fence and yard and Wi-Fi. All right, great.
Mm.
The next paragraph. Along with the 2 dogs, I have 7 cats, 2 parakeets, a concord. I don't know what that is. A cockatiel, fish, and a turtle. Outside, I have 4 ducks and 12 chickens. The cats have their own room, so you'd only need to feed them in the evening. The dogs and the turtle and the fish are the only other ones you'll need to feed each day. Winnie is the golden noodle and Skylar is the Yorkie mix. Both are very sweet as long as Winnie doesn't touch Skylar. Oh my gosh.
I
And that,
would not take that.
yeah, that is crazy. I mean, why would someone think that you would do that?
Well, if you pay enough money,
That's true.
someone will. But another thing that we deal with, just like with every other app, a lot of cheapskates, a lot of people trying to be slick.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Hey, can you take care of my dog? Oh, but my cat's over here. Can you just feed it once a day? It's okay." Like, well, you didn't put that in the app. You're trying to get a free service. So it's like people will try to get away with things. So one of the things I do, especially when you start getting good traction, because when you go on Rover, you have a profile. You have your
Yep.
rates. You get to adjust your rates. I don't like cheap customers, so my rates are high enough. So when they try to book, look at my information to see how much it costs, if they won't talk to me, which is good. I don't want
That's good.
anyone that's cheap. I don't want someone that wants me to take care of their animal. Like I had a request today. Hey, can you take care of my dog tomorrow? Like, I don't know your dog. You have a picture
Yeah.
of your dog. I need more information. So like certain things you want to screen out those kind of crazy customers. The weirdest one I ever did was, and I got paid pretty decent. I had to take care of like 4 Dobermans, and I had to feed a turtle, and I had to feed a bird. I actually took a picture of it. It was a cute little bird. But I got paid for all those things. It wasn't a, surprise thing. Like, you just take that on your way out. Like, no, I need to get paid for these things. That was like a house visit I had to do twice a day. But yeah, some people try to get away with it. Same thing as I guess every other service. Try to find a
Yeah.
way to shook the system a little bit.
I guess my question is, so in my head, Rover, it was just a dog thing, but you can get hired for a cat or a parakeet or whatever.
Yeah, they got whatever they could, take a picture of it. And they'll say, hey, this is the little animal. They call it exotics, so it
Oh,
kind of
okay.
overreaches, and you can, if you're comfortable with taking care of it. Back at the W2 job, we took care of rabbits. We had an iguana, hedgehog one time. That hedgehog actually escaped, and we couldn't find it for a few minutes. Back at the job, we was freaking out. It was on Christmas Day. It was like, where's this damn hedgehog? But yeah, we get all types of animals as long as it's not illegal, like a condor. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. Some sort of a snake, maybe?
Yeah, because a condor is like a bird of prey, which I'm sure that's not something you could be taking care of.
Yeah, it's Conure. I don't know. Maybe he spelled it wrong too. But anyways, either way, that guy's a psycho.
And you need more than one person to do all that work. It's like a farm or something. Like, you got ducks, you got chickens, like like a farm over there.
Yeah. Well, that guy's gonna have trouble getting that paid or getting Mark, no babies in trouser snakes.
No,
gross.
I'm not. No, how dare you? But no,
I mean, unless you're into that. I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna judge anyone. Oh, Google says concour is a bird. Oh,
okay,
interesting. Well, at least it's not a snake. Ugh, snakes. Ugh.
No, not a fan.
Not a fan. All right, couple more things, but first, I just want to talk about Patreon, as we talked about all our members this morning. Earlier in the show, we really appreciate them. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com, search the Gig Economy Podcast. We do one extra podcast a month, and on your third month, you get an exclusive piece of merch, more than likely a t-shirt with our logo on it. And then you get the pre-show banter too, like we kind of talked before the show. And Jesper, normally he's here, we do. It was Hannibal today, so you get an extra bonus with that. But yeah, we'd really love the support. Again, patreon.com, search the Gig Economy Podcast. And just recorded another episode tonight, an interview with a company out of Seattle that's trying to kind of change up the gig economy game. And it was really fun, and I think you'll really like it. So patreon.com, search the Gig Economy Podcast. All right, this one's just kind of funny. I don't know how legit it is, but so it's a picture of a guy, a Lyft driver, and the squirrels. There's a squirrel dead on what would you call that? Like underneath the windshield wipers, but between the hood, that little weird area,
that little concave area.
Yeah, that collects all the leaves. You know what I mean? You got to clean out in the fall. But it says, I thought my first passenger last night was trying to tell me there was a raccoon in the bushes or something. Nope, just drove around with a dead squirrel on my hood all night.
Oh,
I'm like, I don't know. Do you think that's legit?
Well, first of all, rest in peace, squirrel.
Yes.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know how it ended up there, but
I mean, okay. did he somehow he hit the squirrel and it flipped it into the side of his windshield?
I'm sure that can happen.
Yeah. Is it possible to drive? I don't know, at night sometimes, especially when you're just focused and you're just trying to get your money. Maybe, but I don't know. I think I would have noticed a rodent on my windshield.
Yeah, I love when I see these though, because even if it is fake, like that's the first time I saw a dead squirrel on a Lyft car. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I see a lot of pictures, gig pictures. I follow so many channels and I've never seen that. So
yeah, and it's dead. It's that's not how it's supposed to look. In the way it's
not at all. Another article from my man Steve. Uber ex Uber driver takes legal action over racist face recognition software. So long story short, basically it was a black driver who was on the platform from 2016 to April 2021 has filed a suit claiming his account was illegally deactivated when facial recognition software used to log drivers onto the ride hailing app decided he wasn't who he was. So the article just kind of goes on and says that obviously it's designed to protect safety and security of everyone using the app, ensuring the correct driver is using it. Of course, they're committed to fighting racism, being equal. Yeah, we know that. So this was interesting though. Drivers can choose human verification of their picture, and when technology is chosen, there's always a minimum of 2 human expert reviews prior to any decision to remove a driver. So that's weird, right? So like if they're going to kick this guy off the platform because they're not, they he's not who he says he is. Two humans look at that and still make the decision to kick him off.
Or there's no humans and they're just using the AI. They're just looking at the
So-
algorithm to save
Yes.
time, and they're doing that. I mean, it's interesting. When I do Uber Eats every couple, same thing with Uber, I'm sure, like couple of maybe a week or two, they say, hey, take a picture of your face so we know it's you.
Yep.
And for months, I thought it was just, oh, this happens to everyone. Because I when I do it, I usually do dinner, so it's dark. So I'm in the car, I start my app, because I usually don't start when I'm in the house. And they'll say, take a picture. And I'm taking a picture. I got all the lights on in the car. I got to take a picture. Nothing's working. I'm like, God. Then I literally have to get out the car. You need to go into a store somewhere with light.
Yeah.
And then it worked. I thought that was just, it's not that great with low light. They just gotta get, like I talked about this with Chad. Just gotta get it together. Gotta fix it. Gotta strengthen this technology if you're gonna implement it.
It doesn't seem that hard to fix. And I think if it is in the dark, if I'm not mistaken, I think doesn't it light up? Doesn't the screen get brighter or something? I swear, because sometimes I've had to do it where I've like got kicked off because like Uber lately, if you decline like 2 or 3 rides, it just literally kicks you out. Like you have to re-sign in. And sometimes it makes you take the picture. And I swear at night the screen gets super bright, but maybe not. But yeah, I mean, get your shit together. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's discriminatory. I don't think it's something that's intentional.
No.
It's just get the technology strengthened enough. So if I'm going to do dinner, I'm on a dinner shift and it's dark in the car, let me take like I want to start working. I have time to figure out where the damn light is and go and get, take a decent picture.
I'm surprised the car light isn't bright enough for you.
Oh, no.
No?
No.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, well, hopefully they'll get this stuff together. I mean, I don't know about the lawsuit. I mean, being falsely deactivated, yes,
definitely.
But if you're claiming racism or whatever, it's like they're not trying to do that. I mean, all those apps are pretty legit.
They want you to go out there and take all of the bad offers. It doesn't matter what race you are, just take them.
Yeah, exactly. They don't even care. They want you working, so their intent is not to do it. But when you say you have 2 humans look at it before you kick people off the platform, that's bullshit. Because any person would know, okay, this is this guy. We're not going to deactivate him.
Exactly.
But all right. Okay, this is the robot one I was talking about. So basically, it's a one of those little robots that deliver. I don't know. I'm just trusting the Reddit commenters. I could be full of shit, but I'll play the video and see what you think.
OMG, we caught the moment this cute little delivery robot crashed.
We just ran right into the fire hydrant.
Look at the bystanders going to go help the
I don't know. I just thought
accident.
that was funny that they were watching it like, oh, look at this cute little robot. And then, this is why we won't be replaced anytime soon for that reason.
The robot was very confidently like went into that fire hydrant. Very like speed.
It was hauling ass. It had like rough tires on it. Like it was like, I can take on any terrain. But yeah, I don't know if somebody was like actually like driving it with a remote control or if it was actually like AI that was directing it. But I don't know.
AI is not something that's. I mean, they of course they're working on it. They want no driver in the cars. Always like it's going to get there to that point. It's not ready. It's not ready. Not anytime soon. Even if that was a joke. Because usually the ones I've seen, they're not going that quickly. Well, from the little robots I've seen that they're going in campuses, they kind of just steady Eddie kind of speed. But yeah, even if that was fake, that was funny.
Yeah, Steve from Righteous Rodeo, just going back to the article. Remember, that's what can't pronounce his name. In London, told me make sure to choose human verification because with dark skin and women, the facial recognition they use in London is made by Microsoft. They admittedly say. They say it works 80% of the time by people of color and women. That's not very good stats.
Yeah, that's not good. You got to pick that up. Pick it up, Microsoft.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, couple more things. Just picture and then an article that I added late because I read the news about it. So this first one, oh man, I labeled it as Karen 1. or Karen, and then I had to do 2 pictures. Driver, I just picked up your order. I have an order on my route to take care of. Then I will be headed your way. She's like, okay. At 3:21, at 3:36, my food better not be cold because you're not even close to my location. So clearly, this is someone that is looking at the app.
Yeah.
Your other order was not en route to my location. Driver, I've got a lot of orders today. Your order will be nice and warm. I will make sure of it. I will be to you in 5 minutes. I have to drop off the orders in the order that I received them. I'm not sure. I think in DoorDash you can flip those around. Don't
Correct.
quote me on that. Oh, you can?
Yes, you can.
I'm not
Uber
sure.
Eats, you can. I think in
Okay.
DoorDash, definitely, yes.
3:49. My food is cold. You didn't even knock. I did not request contactless delivery. Not happy at all. He's like, the driver, why lie? I don't wish to expose myself. I have children. I knocked and your food was hot in the bag. Then get a new job, she says. So I don't know if she actually did. She didn't want contactless, but you got to follow what it says. He probably didn't want to knock on the door and talk to her because she was pissed. So he's like, I'm just going to drop it.
Yeah.
She says, then get a new job. Oops, that's next picture. Sorry, y'all. Then get a new job. I hope your supervisor appreciates your poor customer service. Driver, I have choices to have contact or not. You're just a peach, aren't you? No, you actually don't. The driver doesn't. It's the customer. Customer, I'll be elevating my complaint. He says, have a good night, Karen. Thank you for the record of poor customer service. I can now show your supervisor. He says, I don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm sorry, I can't make the world revolve around you. Better luck next time. Have a wonderful evening. So, I mean, he technically was in the wrong. He can't choose. I mean, that's if you are worried about your safety, I no disrespect to that, but you should probably not do this job then. Like if you're not comfortable even with a mask on talking with customers, you probably shouldn't do it. And
I agree.
Like I said, he probably didn't want to talk to her because she was super pissed and he probably didn't want to get an earful, but you can't make the decisions. You have to abide what the customer said. The thing I get a lot, which I'm sure you do too, is like it says, it doesn't say no contact list, but in the notes, it says just drop at the door. So then you have this awkward, like, well, I'm not supposed to drop it at the door, but you're asking me to. I don't know what you do. I just drop and knock. Like,
it depends on the situation. It depends on how, I guess you get a feel on.
Yeah.
If this person's been giving me crap, then I'm going to follow exactly what the app says. And going back to your point, Jason, a lot of drivers don't really have a lot of customer experience background, so they're not familiar or comfortable dealing with, the Karens of the world, all those people who are just, they're uptight, they disrespectful, and you may not want to deal with that. But when you out and have customer service and you deal with strangers every day, it's you realize you can't take it personal. Yeah, they may have an attitude with you, but it's never really you may think it's your fault, but it really isn't. It's just you can't control all the variables in the world. So yeah, you don't want to jeopardize your platform, your job, with the apps by not following directions because you want to avoid dealing with an annoying customer.
Yeah, I mean, you can even figure out what area of town. I mean, if it's a bad area of town, like, I mean, I hate to be judgmental, but you should probably just, probably follow what the app says. I don't know. I just feel like those areas of town, the people get fussy, but then also in the super rich areas, you get some Karens that are fussy too. I don't know. I always just don't know what to do when it says the app says, knock on the door and hand it to the customer, and the instructions from the customer says leave it. And I just kind of go, well, the customer wants me to leave it. So customer's always right. So that's what I typically do. I just drop it.
And again, it really depends on the area. Like, just like you, or at least for me, I avoid the ghetto, even though I kind of live in the ghetto. Like, I don't work. I live here, but I don't work here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I rather work where, the income level is a little higher, better restaurants. Avoid the fast food restaurants because I feel like a lot of the weird kind of I didn't get the order, or there's always something wrong, or did you get all of the there's no ketchups, like all that little weird stuff. I don't deal with as much when you're just dealing with the regular like mom and pop restaurants where people usually tip anyway. So the kind of orders you pick does kind of give you an idea of how your day is going to be.
Right.
If you're just doing the McDonald's orders all day, you're going to deal with some nonsense.
Yeah, McDonald's. Man, it's got to be a really high value for me to do McDonald's because one, and I don't know about you, but most of the lobbies are closed, so the drive-throughs are the only way to go.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare, and like I mean, I would drive past the McDonald's if I took a high value one. I would literally go to the McDonald's if it was the drive-through was busy. I would just cancel it. It's not worth me sitting in line for 15 minutes. I mean, it's gonna have to be a really really high value for me to do that.
I agree. It's not worth it for the most part. Majority of them are not worth taking.
Yeah, exactly. So the last article it got announced today. Thank you for the rideshare guy. Uber did acquire Drizzly for $1.1 billion. And we talked about a couple episodes ago, the FTC was looking into them because they're trying to not let Uber become a monopoly, but clearly they cleared them to buy it. But I'm so pissed about that. Like Uber is just trying to it reminds me of Amazon, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Trying to do everything, trying to buy up everything. I mean, good for them. Good for Drizzly. I mean, gosh, 1.1 billion. Can you imagine starting a company from scratch and you sell it to Uber for $1 billion?
I feel like I mean, great. I mean, that's what that if that was the plan, or you realize, hey, I'm looking at the marketplace and it's extremely competitive. Let me cash out now where things are pretty good. Like, will Drizzly will ever be more valuable than 1 point? Probably not, considering
No.
all these other companies are looking to do the alcohol delivery and everything like that. And it's interesting. I think everyone is trying to be like Amazon. Like, I think DoorDash, Tony's shoe is he's probably thinking like, I want to be like Amazon too. I want to try to do a little bit of everything. I want to
Yeah.
buy companies and going back to Instacart, like is Instacart looking for someone to purchase them? So it's going to be a really interesting and a chaotic future. Like what's happening here and what's going to happen in 2 years, it may be completely different. So it is going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I always ask these newer companies that I interview. Curry is one of them, which is a delivery platform for like heating and cooling, those kind of things where you can get, where you're not sending a big truck to deliver that kind of stuff. And I interviewed him and I said, so what's your end goal? I mean, is it to grow it big and sell it? And he said it's not, but I don't blame these companies for doing that. Like Drizzly, like you got to look out for your family. I mean, you started this from scratch, and if everyone agrees on it, like take that cash out, man. Like you could cash out and never work again, or you could make something else amazing.
Yeah, I think you gotta look at the market, see how things are flowing, and you kind of I guess try to do some forecast and say, hey, next year may be a little bit rough for us. How about, like I said, cash out now and you could pursue other interests. You could do so many other things. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. But I feel like there's so many little small companies doing the same thing. Eventually,
Yeah.
they're either going to get brought out or be out of business. We will know. We will know in the future. We'll definitely know about that.
The only frustrating part that I've always said is I don't want Uber to own it all because then they have a monopoly, right? Because like I like to have 7-8 apps that I can choose from, and there still are, but if Uber keeps buying these companies up, it's just like then we have to use Uber, and then we kind of got to do what they say because they own everything. But I mean,
yeah, you definitely don't want you want competition. You want companies coming in with fresh ideas, better ideas, because they'll look at the current situation and realize, yeah, this kind of sucks. Let's do it different. Let's do it this way. So I understand that point, but I still think it's still going to be enough competition to keep Uber, I guess trying to pursue better ways of doing things.
Well, at least we have Amazon, because Amazon and Uber will always they're not going to join, and so Amazon will be a competitor. I mean, there was rumors for a while that they were going to buy Lyft, you know what I mean? So, but Drizzly was founded in 2012, so they literally in 9 years they turned this and they sold it for $1 billion in 9 years. That's incredible.
That's amazing.
That is incredible.
The American dream.
Oh man, I'm telling you, like, holy cow! There's hope for us, Hannibal. There's hope.
Are you going to develop an app service thing?
No, not that. No,
Oh, okay.
Our shows will go. Maybe Spotify will buy us.
Ooh, yeah, you got.
I'd sell out to Spotify.
Yeah, well, if Rogan had that 100 million, like you'll take a few bucks there, right?
I'll take it for $100,000. I'll sell out for $100,000. Anyways,
that's what's up.
Hannibal, why don't you tell people how they can find you?
All right. Instagram, Hannibal's Hungry. YouTube, Hannibal is Hungry. I can't remember my Twitter. I'm sorry. I don't Twitter a lot. Clearly, but I don't use Twitter a lot.
I Twitter a lot.
But yeah, definitely hit me up on Instagram. And yeah, check out my YouTube channel. I'm always talking to different creators, always having different topics. I'm a little different from the ride-alongs. I don't really do too many of those because I find them boring myself. But I'm always trying to find fresh ideas to talk about these kind of topics. So yeah, just check me up on those two platforms.
So IG is probably your most one that you like connect
Yeah.
with people.
Hannibal is Hungry. It's right there. You see that. And yeah, on YouTube, Hannibal is Hungry.
That's so funny because see, I connect with more people on Twitter. Like
Yeah.
I rarely on Instagram, and I don't know, I just don't post a lot. But yeah, I met Steve. I've met so many people on Twitter, just kind of connecting with people. It's just, I don't know. I guess I like that platform better. I mean, I have an Instagram account. It's just I don't ever use it very much.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like what works for like
Yeah.
you, right? It kind of works in that vein. Yeah, Twitter just, I guess I need to follow the right people. It just every time I look at it, just people are yelling and arguing with each other. It's like,
See, that's me on Facebook. Like I hate Facebook. I only have it because it's part of the business. But other than that, I'm just like, yeah, I could be done with this platform so quick.
definitely.
Kind of keep it on there. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. Obviously, Hannibal, hang on, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.